Happy Father's Day Sunday. It is the 18th of June. Welcome to yet another weekly Q&A. I am Joseph Monte, founder of Monte Ministries, and a shout out to all the dads out there. Kids, wherever you are in the world, make sure you show your dad some love, some appreciation today. Even if you're not with them, send them a video, give them a call, tell them how much you love them, how much you appreciate them. And make sure, kids, that you do something special for your father today and something he will not forget. Also, remember our words. Remember the words from Christ that he told you to honor and love and worship our Father in heaven. That is important for all of us to know this Father's Day Sunday. So, last couple Q&A sessions, I answered some inquiries about theology, and particularly about the life of Christ. And even last Sunday, I talked a little bit about signs in the heavens and what was going on at the time of Christ's birth. Today, we're going to shift gears just a little bit, and we're going to talk more about prophecy. And this is very important because of a number of questions that I'm getting about Revelation 12. Revelation 12, if we go to that chapter in right at the beginning, it talks about a prophecy of a sign that we're going to see in the heavens. So I'll start reading. I'll just read up until verse 2. So, a great sign in heaven appeared, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was pregnant and was crying out in birth pains and the agony of giving birth. So very clearly it tells us we're talking about a sign in the heavens, something that's going to occur. Now, I'm going to explain why this is important because I'm getting a lot of questions on this, and probably for good reason, because there's a lot of talk out there on YouTube, social media, alternative media, Christian media. You're getting a lot of pastors that are writing stuff on this and doing videos on this because of what's coming up later this summer and fall. This sign, Revelation 12, it appears will be fulfilled in the sky this coming September around the date of the 23rd, right around the date of the fall equinox. What does this mean? Well, if I continue going in this verse, it says, "And another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, and on the woman who was about to give birth, so that when she bore her child, she might devour it. She gave birth to the male child, who is to rule all the nations with a rod of iron. But her child was caught up to God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God, in which she is to be nourished for 1,260 days." So, what does this mean? This is talking about specifically the sign in heaven that we're going to see when Christ our Lord returns, the Son of Man, the one who's to rule all the nations with a rod of iron, and he's going to be caught up to and he's going to be given his throne. And we're told that this sign is going to be the sign which will occur when that prophecy is being fulfilled. That is coming up this coming September 23rd. And here's what this means. Because this was the question, is first of all, what does the sign of Revelation 12 mean? Probably from one of our viewers who have been watching the YouTube videos and all of the stuff that's out there online now about Revelation 12. And second, what's that second part of the sign mean? Because you can see that there's a sign in the heaven, there's some destruction, and then there's also, Christ. So, first of all, here's what it means. Or here's what it's talking about. It's talking about the constellation Virgo. It's talking about or that's what the woman is being described as. One of only one of 2 female zodiac signs, or one with a female attribute to it. And so what this is talking about is in September, Virgo, the virgin, the woman, is going to be in a place in the sky where Leo, the constellation Leo, is going to be directly above her head. So you have Virgo, and then you have Leo. And Leo is going to, its main, I mean, arguably it has a number of different stars, but its main, if you look at most star charts, its main collection of stars is 9 reference points that make up Leo. Well, there's going to be an alignment between 3 other planets, Mercury, Venus, and Saturn, I believe. And there is going to be this alignment where it's actually going to form a 12-pointed crown above the head of Virgo. The other thing, too, is Jupiter, which is known as the king planet. This is in the belly or in the womb of Virgo. And it came out for just a little bit, but it's been in Virgo, in the belly of Virgo for a number of months now. And on September 23rd, or roughly that time period, it's going to be appearing like it's birthed out of Virgo. Jupiter is known as the king planet, as I said, so this is what everyone is picking up on and saying, you know what, this is the sign, this is what Revelation 12 is describing, that, you know, the woman is going to give birth to the king, and this is apparently supposed to be occurring as there's this great war between, you know, the angels and between Satan, and, you know, this great terrible battle that's supposed to take place, and you know, we're talking about the apocalypse, obviously. But that other part of the sign, you know, a great red fiery dragon that's supposed to appear in the heavens and is going to take his tail and hurl the stars to earth. And this is something that's very interesting because a lot of people, they're like, well, what does this mean? It says, you know, a third of the stars in heaven are going to be cast to earth. And I think that's, to take that too literally would be not correct in this sense, because it's John back in the day describing, you know, what he's seeing and probably having a difficult time comprehending. Basically, a lot of stars. A lot of celestial bodies, a lot of objects are going to be hurled to Earth. Interesting point. You have a lot of pastors out there now and a lot of Christian speakers and theologians and, you know, all sorts of people, even in the secular scientific communities, talking about this planet Nibiru. And this is something very interesting to note because it's getting a lot more attention in science and the mainstream media. It's getting a lot more attention amongst the Christian populations now, and we should be paying attention to this because just the other day, NASA and actually it was UC Berkeley, scientists announced that the planet or the solar system was born with a second sun. It was actually born with, you know, a twin star. They're saying that it's almost impossible for us to assert that we didn't have a twin because basically all stars are born with a twin. Okay, so at the very least, at one point in time, we had a twin star. Now go online and you'll see a bunch of videos. Some are not accurate, but a lot are, of a second sun being seen in the sky. In fact, I even have a video out there of this, and I can send that link, or I can post that at some point if people want to check it out. But there's a second sun that people have been seeing in the sky for a number of years now, and it just started back around 2011. What does this mean? You were talking about a different solar system that's entering our solar system. Right, that's coming. It's a different orbit. Excuse me. It's a different orbit that is, basically like you have our solar system and its path around, and then another solar system which goes a much longer orbit and is coming in to ours. And so that's what they're talking about. That you can go and do tons of research on Nibiru and online and see some good information, some not good information. But this is going to be a topic of discussion ongoing in future Q&As and future videos and teachings. So Bruce, be prepared for that. To keep it simple for today, Nibiru is known by the ancient people as the great fiery red dragon, the great bull in the heavens. It has a number of nicknames to it. And the ancient peoples, if you go back to ancient Sumerian, ancient Babylonian, ancient Mesopotamian times, those people knew about it. Even ancient Egypt, they knew about it too. The ancient Hebrew people, there's evidence that they knew about it too. There's tons of artifacts, cave paintings, wall paintings, artwork, writings. There's a number of biblical and extra biblical sources that talk about a ancient cataclysm, and the cause of it was something celestial, a planet or another celestial body which had an immense effect on Earth. So Revelation 12 seems to be talking about that same great fiery red dragon of old, that old ancient reference in antiquity to this great fiery ball in the sky, which is what we call Nibiru, because when it comes around, as we know, it looks very fiery. It looks red in the sky. It makes the sky light up with a orange-ish red iron oxide kind of glow. That's what the ancients described it as. So this great fiery red dragon, it's telling you roughly the direction that, in Revelation 12, it's telling you the direction this fiery red dragon could potentially be coming from. And what a lot of scientists are talking about online, and so many people are scared to speak up about this in the mainstream, and the mainstream silencing a lot of this and just giving you subtle disclosures over a period of time. What a lot of these scientists are doing is they're going to like alternative media sources. They're going to, like let's say Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie and some of those other smaller radio shows where, they talk about some of this more controversial stuff. They're going on and saying, look, when we go through the tail of Nibiru, when we go through this thing, it's bringing a lot of junk with it. It's bringing in, asteroids, comets, meteors, all this sort of stuff. And we're told in the Bible, there's going to be great like hail that's going to fall on people, hail the size of a town, each stone, with about 100 pounds. That's going to be falling down on people during the end of days. So this is quite scary, but it's also quite exciting because for once now we're starting to get a lot more clarity on what these scriptures and what these prophecies mean, because as more science comes out on this subject, and as we gain a better understanding as to what Scripture is, with more knowledge, more information, more technology, we're able to get a better grasp on this stuff. So we're more prepared for when Christ comes back. We're more prepared for His enthronement and for a new messianic kingdom, which is obviously not going to be much like this one. But as it says in Isaiah, our swords will be turn into plowshares and our spears into pruning hooks, which is an exciting time if you're prepared. That's what Monte Ministries is about. We're about preparing people for Christ, for when He comes back, because I will say this now, we do feel that things are going to happen very soon. Now, I'm not going to say that the date of September 23rd is the date of the end of the world, the rapture, anything like that. I don't really think anyone is really saying that. I think that there's enough clues in Hollywood and in the mainstream media and in other sources and down the like, where this is a real thing, that September 23rd is a significant date where you're going to see this, where this sign is going to occur. Actually, it does say that the sun is going to be cloaked, so you're not actually going to see this in the sky. It's just it's sun. It's going to be in the sun when it's happening, but it does say in scriptures that the sun is going to be cloaking this event. The sun is going to be cloaking the woman, and that's exactly where its position is going to be in September 23rd. This particular alignment hasn't happened at least since back in the 1200s AD. And it's happened maybe only about 4 times in the last 3 or 4 times within the last 2,000 years. So, significant event. Now, please go online, check this out. I'm running out of time now, but basically what you're going to see is this sign in the heavens, and that everyone's talking about, and possibly Nibiru, the fiery red dragon, which is going to come from that direction, and we're going to go through its tail and get hit with a lot of debris, a lot of comets, meteors, asteroids, a plague of hail falling upon the people. And that's essentially what Revelation 12, the very beginning part of that, to me, is describing. And there's going to be more teachings on this, more on this subject. Actually, want to introduce this to you because the revival that we're planning later this summer, this is going to be talking a lot about this subject. We're going to have a lot more information on this. We're going to be sharing everything in depth, presentations, teachings, everything that you need to inform yourself so that you're prepared for when Christ comes back and this whole thing kicks off. So for those of you who watched this video, thank you for joining us. Again, happy Father's Day. Please follow this channel, like it, subscribe, and share this with the world because people need to know this information. People need to know it's out there. And if more people come to us for this kind of information, they're going to get good information going forward. But yeah, thank you to our viewers for asking those questions about Revelation 12. And we hope to give you a lot more information on that very soon. Take care. God bless. And again, happy Father's Day. And thank you guys for joining us.